Well, hello. Smile.
Hello.
Hello, everyone. That's a great way to start, right? So, I want to introduce you to a very special friend of mine. We have intersecting paths in different ways, um, similar kind of religious things that we had as children. So, we know how to talk about that. And Jeffrey lives in Mexico, where my mother was born there, and she left at 16, but I still have lots of family there. And so he goes by Jeffrey Ripe Color, also known as his given name, Jeffrey Goldstein. So I want to start off by having Jeffrey tell how he got on a path, because I think that's always such it's a great story because you're going chronological too, and then along the path there's tributaries and all of that that happens. So,
Lots of tributaries.
oh yeah, if we're lucky, right?
Yes. Okay. So my name is Jeffrey Goldstein. I'm also known as Ripe Color. Ripe Color is my MO online. I have a YouTube channel. I have a website and my Instagram. It's all called Ripe Color. It's called Ripe Color. I'm an artist, and color is my best friend. Or
Yeah.
it's 12 or 15 of my best friends. And so initially it started as a company, and my company was Ripe Color. I made handmade t-shirts. I used to dye, I mean, this actually is one of them, but I used to dye handmade t-shirts, and then I would take all these spiritual and mystical images and put them on shirts. And what I was trying to do was really ignite people without words. If they saw Ganesh, or they saw like astrology signs or alchemy, and I used a lot of really loaded images. So people kind of didn't know what it was, but it was intriguing. And it was like, well, it's energy. We talk in symbols. And I wanted it to be beyond just the United States or just this place or just that place. And I started that in around, let me think, around 2005. And I did it for about 10 years, and then business changed and the economy changed and whatever. And I morphed into more paintings, and I painted scarves for a long time, but now I'm doing paintings. But uh, my spiritual path, well, I grew up with like a nice Jewish boy in Brooklyn. I went to yeshiva. I'm a big queen. I didn't fit in. Okay. So
I wanted you to bring New York in because I think we have some East Coasters that live near New York
well,
City.
sometimes I watch my own videos and I say it's the Eight of Wands, or especially the word time. It's time. It's not time. It's time. Anyway, so
Okay.
the whole religious thing, the whole dogma of it, the whole constriction of it really didn't work for me, and I didn't really feel like there was a place for me there, which was fine. A lot of people feel like that. And then, I have quite the history. So I got sober when I was 22 last year. And
Nice try.
and that really started me some sort of path of like spirit. And I had nowhere else to turn, is really the bottom line. I had nowhere else to turn. I tried everything else.
Mm-hmm.
That's what always like pushes me into like spirit. It's sort of like
Yeah.
this there's nowhere. I've tried everything
Going
else.
well. That's right.
I've tried everything else.
Yeah.
So I went to so I don't even know where to begin. Let me, I'll tell you this part of it. So when I was sober a long time, like 15 years or something, I was still a mess, like emotionally and etc. And I went to this heavy duty rehab, like an emotional rehab. It was like family of origin, and we did like psychodrama and all kinds of stuff. And it was really amazing and really deep and really powerful and really painful and really empowering.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when I came back from that, and that was, let's see, 15, 10. It was around 2000. It was after 9/11.
Mm-hmm.
I had other experiences before that. Okay. There was another spiritual teacher that I was really involved with in around in the mid 90s, early to mid 90s. And we did a lot of energy work together, and it helped me. And then it just, I don't know, it dissipated. It was like just, I did it for like a year or two, and it was like, okay. Anyway, around 2000, I went to that place, and I remember coming back, and I was really a mess. I was really very vulnerable. And this was the attitude that I had going into like a daily meditation.
Yeah.
My attitude was, I'm going to prove to everybody that this is bullshit and it doesn't work. And
Well,
I
you
went
know,
in with a rage, a
yeah.
rage. Like, I'm going to show everyone that God doesn't exist. It was like that. But I was determined. So I would sit and meditate like in this state of anger for like really, really like
Oh
daily,
God.
daily. And uh, just like so much of my life, I found out I was wrong. That's the truth. That's how it all happened. So around to 2010, give or take, and I'm really intuitive. A natural intuitive empath.
And a
Oh,
Scorpio.
and a Scorpio. Yeah, if you saw my chart, you'd be like, oh my.
Yeah.
Yeah, and 4 planets conjunct Scorpio, like 14, 15 degrees, the whole thing.
Yeah.
And planets in the 12th house and blah, blah, blah.
Deep, dark,
Deep, dark, unafraid.
archaeological dig.
Yeah, unafraid.
Yeah.
It's like I'm willing to feel the feelings, no
Yeah.
matter how painful they are, to get through it. I am, truly. And I'm very grateful, really very grateful for it. I'm grateful for the strength. I'm grateful for the determination,
Mm-hmm.
tenacity.
Mm-hmm.
So around 2010, maybe 2007, I'm not sure. I used to sell those t-shirts, but I would sell them to stores, but there was a store that I sold in New York that I used to work at as well.
Mm-hmm.
And this guy comes in with his friend, and I'm putting on a show, like a show. I grew up in retail, so I'm really good at show. And I'm like, bah, 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 and filthy mouth and the whole thing. And the guy's getting a kick out of me, but he didn't buy anything. And then he comes back the next week and he wants me to dye something for him. I'm like, you pain in my. And I was like, okay, give it to me. So I gave it to him. I dyed something for him, and I didn't even charge him because it's like I had the dye bath. I just threw it in. It wasn't that big a deal. And then he came, picked it up, and then he came with a crystal bowl, but it was like a crystal bowl like on a stick. And he's a sound healer and a medium and an intuitive and all that stuff. And he brought this crystal bowl. It was like it was almost like a fruit bowl with a stick. It was kind of pinkish, and it was a heart-centered one. And he starts, doing this sound healing in the store, like right before we close. And I'm like, right? And then he's telling me that he gives these meditations. So I started going really religiously because that's the way I am. I'm very tenacious. I'm very like, I'm going to get to the bottom of it. And I went there for many. His name is Roger Ansanelli, Ansanelli. And he
Oh,
basically he has a YouTube channel as well. And
can
he's
you
in,
can you repeat that? I was going to write.
yes, I'm going to write it down. A, I'll write it down. It's easier.
It's
Uh,
okay. I got it.
Ansanelli.
Okay, got it. So when I put up,
Does that come out
yeah,
correct, or
I
is it
got it.
backwards?
I got
Okay.
it.
Anyway,
So
he has a YouTube channel as well, and he's still doing sound healing, does group sessions,
awesome.
group meditations. He's in Hoboken. So I went there for a really long time, and he really opened me up. He really helped me. He helped me in a way that I didn't even know I needed to be helped, you know? He really helped me to get more and more in touch with my intuition, to trust myself. And he taught me um, the healing modalities that I currently offer, which are pendulum. The pendulum work that I do is, I always wear it, is really more an offshoot of the IET, right? And what the IET is, the IET was born out of Reiki.
Can you tell me what it stands for?
Oh, integrated energy therapy.
Okay, great.
So it helps to release the trauma in your body.
Yeah.
Like, and it's really profound. So it'll go through the chakra system and through the energy body of where we hold shame and blame and resentment and guilt and anger and betrayal and deceit and just old stuff that sometimes we have from this life or from other lives or a combination of both.
Mm.
And what happens is you call on your own angels, and I call on my angels and guides and elemental, and we bring them together for your own good. And then we clear, like, let's say we're clearing distrust, and then we'll imprint trust, with the
Beautiful.
help of the angels and guides and your higher self. So basically, I'm the guide. You're doing the work. Your light is doing the work, right?
Okay.
I
So
ask and then I receive.
before, because you're telling this kind of like a weaving, but I have to separate things out because either these some of these are things you do now.
Yes.
And so it's integrated energy therapy and the pendulum work. Are those like the main kind of cornerstones of what you do?
Yes, those are the main cornerstones. And I also do tarot readings. I teach tarot classes. I teach pendulum.
Hmm.
Um, and I love doing tarot. I really do.
How
Because
did you
tarot
get
just
on that?
it just, like shuffling and seeing the card, it just opens up like new avenues for me to
Yeah.
see and hear and feel so that I can help people to navigate.
So let's back up on that for a second. So you've been doing tarot for what, like 20 plus years?
Yeah.
And do you think that you were taught it or you just made
No,
it?
I think tarot is something one has to teach oneself.
Yeah.
It's kind of like,
I
let's
think
put it this way. So somebody will teach you how to ride a bicycle, but at the end of the day, it's your balance that's really understanding,
good.
it's in your body that you have to understand how to ride the bicycle. Someone could show you and they can, guide you and help you. And it's like, oh, okay, until you find your balance. And then once you find your balance, in the beginning, it's sort of like a little rocky. And as you get better and better, it's like, oh, I don't even need to do hands. You know how you see the kids, eating a sandwich without it, their hands riding down the street?
Yeah, I've seen it. That's really cool. You said you teach tarot, and actually I took your class.
Yes.
And it was with Nancy Jean, and you both
Yes.
have a YouTube channel. We could talk about that in a little bit. It was an excellent class.
Thank
And
you.
I've been trying to learn tarot for like 25 years. It's one of those things. It's not like you. When you got absorbed, you just did it. I like, oh, there's that kind of ice cream, and there's that kind of, and I'll try this, and I'll forget
Mm.
about one thing.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
for you, there's that tenacity, and there, and and your tarot readings are excellent.
Thank you.
And
I
that's
mean,
on
that's my,
you.
but that, I mean, I think we all have our own little MO, the way we walk through the world, and well, I'm a Scorpio. And I can just like claw onto something. It's like, I'm going to figure this out. I'm getting to the bottom of it. I don't care how long it takes. I have that. And I have Virgo rising. So, it's even more. It's like, oh, in depth. Let's go in depth
Yeah,
between the two of them. It's like,
perfect. This is perfect for you.
I think
Um,
that's also why, the IET, I mean, first of all, the IET and the pendulum have healed me to such an extent that I don't really recognize who I was, how I felt about the world, how I felt about moving through the world, how I felt about my relationship with other people, with my relationship with how I live, how I take care of my body, et cetera, et cetera. It just changed everything. And I know that there are a lot of people out there that have, we all carry weird stuff, one thing, your father said something to you when you were 4 years old, and it's like you keep on repeating that thing over and over or whatever. And it can help you release that. And I think, for me, like the most important thing in the world is to be free.
Absolutely.
There's nothing more important than to be free. And a lot of times the freedom is from myself. The freedom is from the limitations that I put on myself, or the thought patterns that are not, the best thought patterns. And it's a process. It's not a one and done. That's for sure. That's for sure.
Yeah. So when you do the IET, because I know what you do, but I'm going to ask you because the other people don't. How does it work?
So basically, both the pendulum and the IET, I ask a question. And the question is, if you could change, shift, manifest, or create anything in your life, what would it be? Which is like quite the question. Because most
Yeah,
people will approach the question, it's like, well, I really don't want this. And it's like, no, 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 no. I asked you what you do want. It's like if I invited you, if you're a little kid and I invited you to the toy store, you don't sit around and say, I don't like that doll. You say, I want that car.
that's right.
I want that most expensive car in the back of the
That's
thing, that
right.
red one with the convertible.
Right.
That's what I want.
Right.
Instead of, like, oh, I don't really want, because I think we've all been trained. It's like, oh, well, this isn't working in my life. I hate my job, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, okay, what do you
Now
want?
what?
What do you want? It's like, well, I want a new job. Great. Right. And then what do you want to release? What do you want to let go of? But it's in that order, because what's happening is we're inviting your angels and your guardian angel, my guardian angel, your guides, my guides, your elemental, my elemental. And we're working on an energy level, putting it out. It's like, I want to experience more joy. I want more comfort. I want more love. I want more money. I want more self-acceptance. I want to let go of anger. I want to let go of sadness. I want to let go of shame. You
You know,
know, and if you say like, yeah, I want $100,000 and I want to let go of my sister-in-law, that's fine.
okay.
There's not a right or wrong.
Right. And we're all at different stages of life and stages of our own development within our souls. So, you can't say it's all going to be the same.
Right, right, right.
Ever.
And my job is to meet you where you are.
Yes.
My
You
job is to meet you where you are, wherever that is,
right.
honestly.
Yeah. So, okay. So we've got your story. Now, where do you live, by the way?
Oh, well,
See, I already know, but I want to segue to
I
because
live in the most fascinating city in the Americas. I
in
live in Mexico City.
La Ciudad de México. Muy
Y Ciudad de Mexico.
bien.
Okay, so the first time, and well, the reason, it's a long story, but every time I came to Mexico, I felt really, really, I feel in Mexico in a way I never felt anywhere in the world. I feel loved, protected, guided. I feel encompassed. I feel like I'm in the womb. That's how I feel.
Oh, wow.
And I came here the first time, I think in 2016. I ended up moving here. I had a fire in New York. I lost everything. I lost my apartment. I lost my art studio. I lost my business. I lost everything. And I had been to Mexico so many times. And every time I would go to Mexico and I come home, everyone says, every time you say Mexico, you just light up. And I thought that the apartment was going to come back and la la la, but nothing ever. Anyway, I'm a resident, and I love Mexico. I
What
love
do
the
you love
people.
about? What do you love about?
I love the people. I love the culture. I love the warmth. I love the climate. I love the food. I love the vibrance. I
Mm,
love the realness. I love the surrealness. It's for an artist, it's like
yeah.
a candy store. It's like a candy store. It just never ends. And the weather, it's like 80 degrees every day.
Yeah.
That helps.
And so, are there any issues like with the language or understanding?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, just like anywhere. I mean, what if you go to India or something for a month, it's like all, yeah,
I mean, it's a really big adjustment, but
yeah,
I'm adjusting. And I'm not trying to make Mexico adjust to me. I'm trying to make me adjust to Mexico.
that's how it needs to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because otherwise, you become the ugly American.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
We don't,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because it's super duper inefficient. It's, there are certain things it's like everybody wants cash, but nobody has change. I mean, even, like there are certain stores you can go with credit card, like a bigger store, but even there's like Oxxo, which is like the Mercado, it's what we call in New York a Mercado. It's like the deli, you get, I don't know, cigarettes and milk and,
Yeah, yeah.
maybe cookies, water, maybe batteries. And I think they're franchise. So it's like, oh, do you have the penny? It's like, no, well, I,
You're
I don't
getting
have I don't have the change for that. It's like, really?
You
Okay.
have to get used to it because that's the way of the land.
That's the way it is. And that's the way, like what I got to get used to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, this is reminding me there's a little quick story that I definitely want you to tell.
About Guadalupe.
Sí, señor.
Okay.
Por favor.
So
By the way, for the
here I
audience,
am, a nice Jewish boy, right? But I've always, always, always really on a deep level understood the Godhead as feminine. Always. Maybe because I was a little queen or something, but I always felt like the real the feminine aspect had the real power.
hmm,
That was always my understand. That's the way I always understood intuitively. That's how I understood the world. And I don't want to get into the whole trans thing, but I consider myself a he she. I'm kind of a he she.
okay.
I'm not. Yeah, 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 yeah. I mean, my body is a man's body. Um, but I'm like I'm really happy being a little girly. And I used to be much girlier when I was younger. So my first day, so I came to Mexico City. It was kind of a fluke. I was going to actually go to London, but it was January, and it was like, why would you go somewhere from cold place to another cold place? Go somewhere warm. So and somebody had invited me once to Mexico, and they said they were going to pay, and then it all fell through. And I was like, I'll show you. So I came and I studied Mesoamerican art history too in school. So I had three things I wanted to do in the 10 days. And the three things that I wanted to do was I wanted to go to the Museo de Antropología, the Museum of Anthropology, which is amazing. And I wanted to go to Teotihuacan, which is the big pyramid, like 40 minutes outside, which was unbelievable. And I wanted to go to the Basilica because I had this affinity for Guadalupe. Because Guadalupe for me has nothing to do with Catholicism, but for me
I'm
personally.
wondering though, do you think everybody knows who she is and what she represents?
Well, she represents different things to different people. I mean, so the story, she's like an incarnation of Mother Mary,
Right.
right?
Okay. Yeah.
How convenient, though. She's it has so her basilica is built on an old temple of fertility, to the feminine goddess who, was covered in blood, by the way. Yeah, because it's Aztec, it gets very
Yeah.
dark. And that's exactly what her basilica is. Oh, really? So this guy had a vision of roses and all this, and but it's a whole story. And I don't even know the whole story. I can't tell it well. But I really wanted to go to the Basilica. So the first day I'm here in Mexico City, I stayed in like this really hipstery neighborhood. And this is a really, really big, really confusing city. There's not one lot, there's not one street that goes straight, not one. And I walked like the El Camino to the Basilica, and it took me 3 hours.
Like a pilgrimage.
My first day. And I'm like walking around and I'm completely and utterly fascinated. Like I couldn't get enough. Like I couldn't get enough. You know how when you see something that's just so, I don't know, awesome, really. I know I hate that word, but bright and alive and crazy and busy. And it's like, I really like this. I'm really digging this. And I'm walking and I'm hearing and I'm feeling, you belong here. You belong here. You belong. I'm like, leave me alone. What are you out of your mind? You belong here. Didn't stop. And I finally get to the Basilica. And the old Basilica, the whole place is built on a lake. So all the buildings are like this. So the old Basilica has like marble floors. And then there's this woman with her kid, like a little kid, like maybe 5, 6, 7, maybe. And she's praying in the old Basilica. But the floor is like this, like a Batman thing, right? And the kid's sliding, it's like, of course he's sliding, he's a kid, it's marble. And she's all upset. And I'm like, go, kid, go, 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 be a kid, right? And then I go to the new Basilica. And then I don't know, the priest is up there and everyone's like, and I was like, well, this isn't what it's about. And then there was this woman there, and look, I'm from New York, so I know all about people on the street asking for money. But she had her kid, and the kid was the accessory. It was like that was the energy. This is my child accessory, and you have to give me money. It was like there was something like, I don't know, it just didn't feel right. I was like, get lost, lady, basically. And before I walked in, the plaza going into the Basilica is really, really, really big. And there was an older couple, and she had something wrong with her leg, like really wrong, wrong, wrong. Like it might have been like a lifelong thing. And she was walking with a cane and like super slow. And she's like, she's getting there, she's getting there. She's doing her thing. She's getting there. And she's like heavy set, and like they're older, the 60s, 70s, and he's with her. It was really sweet. And I brought a scarf with me that I'd made. And I infused the scarf with a lot of energy, and it was like pink and orange. It was really, really amazing. And it glowed. And and I brought it with me. And I gave it to her. And I'm not telling you that I could cry now, because what I got at the Basilica was that it's not about worshiping Guadalupe, it's about being Guadalupe. So my understanding, this is my personal understanding of the goddess of Guadalupe, especially. It's the mother and child. It's about being and encompassing that loving, loving, comforting mother of, I love you no matter what you do, no matter how bad you are, no matter how many times you didn't do your homework, even if you stole candy from the store, I love you. I love you. You can't do anything wrong. It doesn't even matter if you do it wrong. I love you. So to be that, and to be the child that allows that unconditional. I love you when you fucked up. I love you when you lied. I loved you when you were mean to somebody. I love you. And to allow yourself to be loved on that level. I mean, this is the ideal for me. This is the ideal, to encompass all of that, to encompass being the mother and being the child. That's, for me, the real energy of the whole thing.
Beautiful.
That's the energy.
When you were in that place and you gave her the scarf, did you have that kind of insight, or did that happen afterwards?
It just happened. I don't even know why I brought it. I don't even know why I made it. I was like, I made this to give to somebody. I don't know who the hell it was. I thought maybe it was like my host, or, I don't know.
I guess what I was
But I
asking,
saw I saw her devotion and I saw her determination and I saw her, she did what I wasn't getting from her is like, I'm feeling bad for myself. What I was getting from her is I have something to do. I have somewhere to go and I am going to get there. And I was like, let me help you.
it's so real. I mean, it's so
It was
authentic.
because when there was something about, I don't even understand what the priest was saying, but there was something about like, oh, I'm far away from you. It's like, no, I am you. You are me.
You had a real like awakening
Yeah.
at that place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I walked home on top of it. Oh, wait, before I got to the subway finally. And then there was this guy, and he was really drunk, really drunk. And he had like a cowboy hat, like a straw cowboy hat. He was a mess. Like his belt wasn't on straight, and he's drunk. And he's got like a python or something, like a cobra, like some poisonous snake. And the snake is drunk
Around his neck?
on the floor. And he's like, and he's like pretending to be a shaman or some shit. And this Mexican guy looks at me and I look at him and we're like, oh, are you seeing this, bro? And I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm seeing it.
So how did you,
I love this place.
what happened?
I don't know. I was like, I'm done. I was like, I saw enough.
Did you
You know
go
how
to
sometimes
another?
you see the beginning of a story and it's like, this is not going to end well. I think I should leave now.
So you walked home.
I walked home.
I never heard that story.
Yeah, I walked home.
Okay, so I'm gonna segue to something else, okay? Because like I know a lot about you because I've been following you for at least 2 to 3 years. So you spend a lot of time making really interesting videos.
Thank
Okay.
you.
And do you want to categorize some of them? Like if they were to
Well,
go,
I do tarot readings
yeah.
and I do tarot readings. So I used to do them, by sign, and now I'm doing it by element. And, I go back and forth in how I categorize them. And then
Do you do them live? You like pull cards?
I do a lot of lives. I like doing lives. They're fun.
Yeah.
Um, and I also do meditation videos and like healing videos. So lately I've been, like I've been called. It's like, okay, everyone's going to get a chakra alignment today. And I do a little number. It's like,
Nice, nice.
or whatever, or like little helpful hints that I see other places that make sense, like little tidbits of like spiritual information that could be useful. I think it's all about being useful, how you could utilize it to like change your perspective or see things in a different way or open up to new energy. And so I do like meditation ones and then sometimes I do sort of like today I did I did a little live and then I said, okay, card of the day. And not only did I talk about the energy of the day, but I went into like a description about the card because a lot of people want to learn tarot. So I'm very,
So you're just like right in the moment sometime,
I'm
you've got
always
this,
right in the moment.
yeah. And that's great. And then, you also don't you do like special events like the eclipse and
Yeah, no, I always do. I pretty much always do eclipse, full moon, new moon. Yeah, I pretty
you do
much do
some
that every year.
astrology too, like you have like this is the reading for the collective for the leap.
Yeah. Or if it's a special holiday or, I'm guided. So they just tell me,
Yeah, you do, right?
that's why, because like, as like a marketer, you look on YouTube and it's like, oh, it has to fit into this category and it has to be this thumbnail and, you know, and it's like, that's nice. But I just go with what I'm guided to do. It's the same with the art, I don't,
Hey,
like, I think I want to make geometric and then I start painting and it's like, well, this is a flower.
do you mind getting up and showing us one of your pieces of art?
Yeah. You know what? I have them. I have some actually. I think they're here because I don't want to. They take it off the wall. Oh, here I do.
So Jeffrey's quite the artist, everybody, and he makes beautiful scarves. And I don't think he's done the scarves since he's moved to.
No, the scarves, it became too expensive to ship. It became
It's a whole different
complicated.
thing when you're in another country about, the post office and.
Well, yeah, but that's another whole mess. But also, I used to get the scarves. There was somebody in California that was importing them from China. So they already took care of the import cost. And then they just shipped it to New York. So how much was I paying, right? Plus chemicals. And I can't ship chemicals from the States here.
Hey,
So
show
I
us
have to
your art.
find that. It's a whole thing.
Yeah.
All right. So lately I've been doing watercolors. Ta-da.
Ooh.
So I sell them as originals or as prints. I'm not really sure what the top and the bottom is of this one. I haven't decided yet.
Ooh, it looks like there's a whole bunch of animals on it.
I
I,
know
I
it's a
see
whole
a lot
thing
of
going on.
bunnies.
There's a whole thing. I never really know who's going to come.
Then when you sell that art, do you frame them as well?
No, no, no. It's, people prefer to frame their own thing. Some people want a dark frame. Some people want a light frame. Some people want a mat around it, la, la, la. And then, I'm going to send glass. I don't think so.
No. Wow.
And then,
So,
more some geometry. This one is kind of like Japanesey.
wow.
And,
Go sideways or up or vertical.
huh?
You can hold it, shape it, like frame it
Oh, look at
vertically.
this one. This one's fabulous.
Yeah. Ooh.
I know,
So
isn't that amazing?
alive. Yeah. I'd love to see like a green frame around it. Beautiful.
See, so, and then other people would say, oh, okay, I want a pink frame, or I don't want a frame. And some people want a black frame, and some
All
people
different.
want a light ground. It's like,
So, wow. So you're definitely a man of many talents. I
thank
mean,
you.
and 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 you're always trying something new.
Always.
So many ideas. Do you want to talk about some things you're working
You know,
on?
the thing that I really love doing the best, actually. So Susan is part of the community that I formed. I call it Ripe Color Community. And if you become part of the community, you get an individual IET session, which I usually do overnight because it's about receiving. And people are like, well, I'm just cooking. It's like, no, no. You need to like sit and receive and not check your phone.
Yeah.
Oh, look what's happening on Instagram. No, no, no. Right.
Mhm.
So I do it when people are sleeping. It's easier.
Yeah.
And also I get information that way, more information, it seems. It's late at night for me when I'm doing it. So it's just really quiet in the apartment and I could just be there with the energy.
Right.
And then an individual pendulum session. And then every week we have a Zoom call where the members of the communities come. And we used to do vision boards, but we kind of outgrew that. And we talk about what's going on and what we'd like to bring in, what we'd like to manifest. And I usually form it into a group meditation that sort of serves all our purposes. And that I'm channeling because it's like there's no script for that. It just sort of happens. And I actually meditate and lead the meditation simultaneously. So it's really quite
And you
something.
receive it too.
It's really something. And then I'm getting it through,
Balls
and
in
I'm
the
like,
air, right?
how what you said?
Yeah. Right. I know. Um, wow. So you really are a modern Renaissance human being.
Well, I don't know about that. I can't tap dance.
I mean, like, notice I didn't say man because after you talked about
Huh?
I didn't say man, right?
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I was like, okay. So um okay. So how would people find you on YouTube?
Ripe color. RIPECOLOR.
That's it, right?
Yeah.
And there's
Right.
a
And I'm on Instagram and I do little videos or I do pictures of Mexico City or pictures of my art. It's
yeah.
always colorful, because it's all about color.
And is it
And
also ripe color there as well, right?
that's Ripe Color. And my website also is Ripe Color. Duh.
Jeff. Oh, okay.
And
Website.
then like the community thing is called ripecolorcommunity.com.
Mhm. I didn't even know we had a special website.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Didn't know that.
Yeah, I think I'm going to combine them because it's a little bit, but I think I'm going to
Yeah, when
combine
you
them.
have too many, everybody gets confused. There's so much to
Well, at
remember.
least it's like kind of the same name. It's not like one
Yeah,
and then,
yeah, yeah.
something completely different.
Wow. Well, I have to tell you, is there any parting words that you'd like to give us?
I'm really, how can I? I'm really grateful for my life. I really love to help people. I love to help people. I love to support people. I love to, you know what the real miracle of it is for me?
What's that?
Coming from the place that I come from and the childhood that I come from and all that other stuff. I should be a really angry, crazy person. I mean, I have my moments of crazy, that's for sure. But I'm not. I'm joyous. And I can't believe that I've been brought to this place of joy, whether I'm living in New York or in Mexico or whatever. And I think part of it is like to show people, or I don't know, be an example in a way of you too can heal. You too can live in joy. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not walking around happy all the time, believe me.
Process.
But overall,
Yeah.
on the inside, I'm really very happy. And I can't believe that this happened to me, but it took a lot of effort and it took a lot of trust and a lot of tenacity to get to this place. But I never thought it would be for me, truly.
Oh man. Well, thank you
That's the
so
truth.
much. And
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
pleasure. I'm just
You
gonna
are,
stop the recording and then we'll just like recap
yeah, recap. Should I change my outfit?
and I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Jeffrey's really special, and I would invite him to be with our group, but he's a really busy guy.
I'm not even on Facebook, actually.
Yeah, so there you have it. But I wanted you to meet him because he's very special to me.
Thank you. Thank you. Blessings.
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 Okay, stop recording.